All right, welcome back to another Black Bear News upload where everything is connected. And shout out to the TikTok followers, people who are watching I have been very inactive on TikTok lately, but people are still watching my videos there, so I appreciate that. Let's get into some stories. If you remember last week, I covered Ian Carroll covering the story about Tim Walz, the vice presidential candidate for the Democrats, about sexual abuse allegations. And yes, this is it's a touchy subject. These are very strong, allegations. And so there's been kind of an interesting wrinkle in it. And when I covered it, so when he covered it, he said this is all allegedly, but, seems like there's something here. And when I covered it, I said, again, I just repeated his words, allegedly, seems like there's something here, but we don't know. There was an X space the other day with Ian Carroll and Jason Goodman, who was another researcher, investigator, journalist. And it was a very interesting space. And basically, so what has happened since then is the guy who brought out these allegations deleted his Twitter account, whatever you want to call it, ex-Twitter. And Ian Carroll walked back his story, or he just said, it looks like this is debunked. He didn't walk it back. He just said, it looks like it's debunked. But in this X space that I was listening to, it was just an interesting talk. It's on my Twitter page, Black Bear News, the number 1, if you want to go listen to this space. It's like 2 hours long, so it's a lot of listening. But they get into talking about the story, and basically the other guy, Jason, who hosted the space, he thinks the allegations are true and that this was a way to, Ian Carroll bringing out the story and then debunking the story was a way to kind of squash the story. It's all very convoluted. I can't wrap my head around it, but this other researcher, Jason, thinks that this story is true, the claims are credible, and that the person that made the claims needs to be, needs to have his story heard, and it needs to be covered. And he also, interestingly, in this same discussion, there's a lot of skepticism among alternative journalists about Ian Carroll's sudden, rise to fame on social media sites. They think it's, he's an op or he's controlled. Nobody can have that kind of growth so quickly. I don't know. I've seen other people have organic growth. I think it can be done. So my personal thoughts about this are, I don't know. It's 50-50, could go either way. But he directly, pointedly made some comments to Ian about his, the strange amount of growth, how he just suddenly appeared on the scene and had 1 million followers. And a lot of people think that he's some kind of op, and Jason kind of directly said some things to him about this. And I went, oh, I wish there was more elaboration on this, but I don't know. I'm in a personal position where I feel like I want Ian Carroll to be an authentic person, and it's kind of like Bernie Sanders or RFK Jr. or something. I can't, are they authentic people who get co-opted or get, leaned on, or are they inauthentic from the beginning? And I often feel like I have a very high amount of hope, that somebody authentic is doing good work and it's going to come through and is going to be, somebody you can believe in, and they often disappoint me. Anyways, just a very interesting wrinkle to the story. Go listen to this space if you have time. It's on my Twitter page. Moving on, recently Joe Rogan interviewed Trump. And it was, kind of big news. Excuse me. Kind of big news. And I listened to a few portions of it. I'm probably going to try to listen to a little more of it. It's an somewhat interesting conversation. There's lots of issues with things that when Trump says, listen, it's a two-party system, that's the reality. I was like, it's only a two-party system because people insist it's a two-party system, guy. And when you are, driving that point home on an interview with Joe Rogan and making it seem like this is the only way we can do this or run this, I have I have lots of problems with Trump and credibility and believability but on the other hand, I will just say this. When I listened to the interview, I was like, when he speaks, at least he speaks like a real person and not like a canned politician. And I think that's his appeal. Like he feels genuine, and much more off the cuff and unrehearsed and he's also very sharp. He is in no way, shape or form as senile and just doddering as Joe Biden. Like, not even close. He still has all his faculties. So, who knows? I don't listen to the interview if you want to. If not, I don't know. Tell me whether you listened and liked the video. Let me know in the comments. But another interesting story around interviewing Trump is the story of Andrew Schultz.
We're moving around seating plots, camera plot, like it's ready to go. We're going on sale this week. And we get an email 3.5 hours out. After discussing with our board members, we don't think that it would be, there's email, you'll bring it up, but don't show any emails up. But it was BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music, which is a venue they've shot tons of specials in. And 3.5 hours after the interview, they canceled shows.
So basically, Andrew Schultz is saying or explaining that he had an event canceled by the Brooklyn Academy of Music, a venue which, coincidentally, I've performed at. It's a very esteemed venue in Brooklyn. He had an event canceled because he interviewed Trump, which is absolutely wild. It seems fairly extreme, extreme punishment or penalties for, this deplatforming, this canceling, this, because you are interviewing a presidential candidate. It seems wild. I don't know if Joe Rogan is going to get any kind of the same treatment. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think that's acceptable. I think that's really bonkers, really off the wall. We need to stop with this canceling, deplatforming, type of activity. And it seems to be coming, sorry for all you Democratic liberal types, seems to be coming from the left, and it's got to end. It's actually, the left carrying the fascist torch. The thing of which they are accusing Trump of is the thing that they are doing. Wild times. Anyways, we're going to cover one more story and go back to the subject of sexual abuse by the Catholic Church. And this is again, this subject is a very hard subject to cover. It's very unsettling, very shocking. This has already been covered by many people, but this is a major story, what to know about the Los Angeles Catholic Church. The church's $880 million settlement with sexual abuse victims. So it's a thing that happens, and they're obviously settling. They realize they're at fault. They're admitting this is going on. The Archdiocese of Los Angeles has agreed to pay $880 million to hundreds of victims of clergy sexual abuse dating back decades. The settlement is with 1,353 people who allege they were abused by local Catholic priests. It's the largest single child sex abuse settlement with the Catholic Archdiocese. This actually gives credibility to all the other stories of sexual, Pizzagate and beyond, and the claims that, child predators are running the world. It most likely true, unfortunately. Anyways, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.